Welcome back. My singing is horrible. Welcome back. Welcome, everybody, to the returning episode of Into the Stratusphere. I'm your girl, Cindy G. How you guys doing? You guys miss me? Well, I miss all of y'all. So I thought that I was going to be coming back last week, but you know what? I decided to take another week off due to the fact that, your girl has been burned out working 6 days straight from her regular job to helping Teddy Turnbuckle doing the non-WWE reactions video during Mania week, whichever, which, at least I got a break during WrestleMania weekend. And also going through personal stuff as well, which you guys already been aware, which I'm not going to talk about it again, but I do appreciate it, everybody's love and support. But your girl is stronger than ever. And lastly, I've been busy on TikTok, you guys. I've been hitting over 1,000 followers within a couple days, but I'm now getting close to 1,100 followers. So yeah, your girl has been busy doing TikTok, but don't worry, I've been promoting the Bulletcast podcast, of course. But anyway, that's what I've been doing, you guys. So hope everybody's doing okay. We are in episode 33. That's right, the recap for Impact Wrestling's Rebellion. And I am not alone here, you guys. So joining me for this recap episode, you guys already know who he is. He is the officiate for the NoDQ.com contributor. He is the officiate for the NoDQ.com Prediction League, of course. And he is the co-host of the podcast called The Sauce. And he has his own YouTube channel as well. Ladies and gentlemen, making his return, say hello to the simple man, Noah Foster. Hello, Noah. How are y'all doing?
Hello there, my friend. It's good to see you. And hello, everybody, and all pro wrestling fans. I've been doing well. We just came off Impact Rebellion. And as part of hitting just now 200 subscribers on my YouTube, I called this Impact Sunday Live React and Interact. So I've literally been live streaming my reactions all day, not only to the Hard to Kill, but Rebellion, and a follow post discussion with my ATW crew as part of a new podcast I do called ATW View, where we sometimes just brainstorm and record, but I digress. And overall, I've just been doing well, and I'm glad to hear that you are doing well too. It's great to be back with you into the Stratusphere to talk wrestling with you.
Excellent, Noah, and congratulations on your endeavor. That's pretty amazing. Where they can find your new ATW?
It's still, of course, at youtube.com/C/NoFoss210 for all things wrestling, WW friendly on Twitter. That I now do a podcast once in a while called the ATW View. So if you get a chance, there's a playlist for that. Go check that out. And I will definitely be doing more content because, like you, I took a mental break because life and work and WrestleMania week definitely burned me out. So I definitely will be doing more content on my YouTube channel going forward. And who knows? I might do more live reactions with pay-per-views and other stuff too. I haven't ventured on other platforms yet. Only time will tell.
Awesome. That's good to hear, Noah. Now, you guys, enough of this introduction. We're definitely going to go dive deep to Impact Wrestling's Rebellion just happens. Recently already, you guys. So
25 minutes ago.
Exactly, by the time of the recording of the podcast. All right, you guys. So without further ado, the first up is a pre-show match, which you guys, oh my God, your girl missed the pre-show because your girl has been busy filming TikTok video just to promote this podcast, you guys. So I have to make a commitment to the Bulletcast to make sure that it's spreading the word, especially with the high following that I have. I wish the Bulletcast can open up a TikTok account. I can take care of it, but I gotta get it approved from Philip first. But anyway, digress on that. So the pre-show match is the team of Rosemary and Havoc versus the team of Susan, aka Karen, and making her return, Kimberly. So I missed the match. Noah, you saw the whole pre-show match. What do you think of this match?
Pre-show matches always set up some sort of thing you could expect, in this case, from the Knockouts division to come. We still are wondering where this whole Karen Susan thing stands with Deonna Purrazzo and Kimberly. Kimberly always impresses. This duo trying to be a team, just not working. Havoc with Decay kind of can work, I think. It kind of gives her a new identity since Rosemary and Havoc have that history, and Nevaeh no longer part of Impact. All the best whenever she pursues. I thought it was okay. I thought the right team won here, and I'm curious if this means that Havoc will become more permanently a part of Decay going forward. Not bad, though.
Excellent. So the team of Rosemary and Havoc did defeated the team of Kimberly and Susan, aka Karen, when Rosemary did deliver her finisher to Kimberly. And from like what I saw on Twitter, it seems like a pretty solid match altogether. And I'm very surprised that Rosemary and Havoc is like teaming up together since that history along the side. But for a fact that there has been some tension later on between Susan and Kimberly, which we're going to be talking about at couple matches later, you guys, once we're talking about one of the matches as well. So yeah, all in all, good pre-show match, you guys. So anyway, so to kick things off, the opening of the match you have is the three-way X Division Championship match between the current champ Ace Austin with Madman Fulton versus TJP versus Josh Alexander. So this is pretty much the battle of the UN, of course. Yeah, the Philippines versus Canada versus US of A, y'all. And it was pretty much a very fun opening of the match. I do enjoy it a lot, especially you got like different high-flying move sets from TJP and Ace Austin. Josh Alexander with more of a Canadian strong style strikes to a little bit of a technical side, but more of like a brawling in-ring ability he can. Everybody looks incredible. I really love the knee bar train that Josh Alexander did deliver to Ace Austin and then TJP to Josh Alexander. It was so much fun. And I like the fact that Josh has like an impressive counter maneuver from Ace Austin with that ankle lock after Ace Austin tried to apply the Hurricanrana, but Josh with his quick mindset. And then, of course, TJP did break with the Mamba Splash. And, of course, you guys broke the pin from Madman Fulton. So you see a lot of tension and a lot of a little bit of interference. But at the end, Josh Alexander did deliver the package pile driver, and thus he becomes the new X Division champion. I actually enjoy this match. However, I did pick Ace Austin because I just want him to continue on with the feud, even though the fact that you have Josh Alexander as the new X Division champion, I just feel that this is going to be a continuing feud between Josh and Ace moving forward, probably for like the next 2 months, because the next big pay-per-view is it's going to be Slammiversary, which we're going to be getting to like the announcement of like each of the Impact Plus special in just a bit. So Noah, what do you think of this match? Do you think that Josh Alexander being the new X Division champion seems fair and all that?
I feel like for a while he's been an uncrowned champion of any sort, and I feel like he definitely deserves to be X Division champion. But I was like you, I also want to base Austin because I thought that this would turn into a singles feud, short-term program to continue. All three-man brought us the X Division, no matter what, even in Impact's worst days, wherever there have been some. They've always been the standard to continue forward, and honestly, this might be the best the X Division has ever been, especially when you think about an all three-man brought. I gotta give it to Josh Alexander. He pulled it out and literally pinned the champion. I did not see that coming. Really good match, and Josh deserves to be the champion. I did not think it was going to be tonight at this pay-per-view, but I'm not sad that it was either. And hopefully, though, it does mean it's Ace versus Josh singles-wise for this title, because I respect TJP constantly going after this, but time to move on to something else. Kind of wondering if Josh might be the one to cash in on option C.
Indeed. I mean, it's gonna be happening along the line as well for possibly for like who's gonna be like the next contender. But like I said, this is gonna be a continuing feud between like Ace Austin and Josh Alexander, and with TJP, I feel like he's probably gonna be getting a little bit involved too. However, there's only one other person that we haven't seen in a while, Chris Bay.
Yes.
Where is he? So it looks like something big is probably going to be happening within the X Division within the coming weeks, but we're going to be wait and see.
Mm-hmm.
Alrighty, so next up you have is a 8-man tag team match between the team of Violent by Design versus the team of James Storm, Chris Sabin, Willie Mack, and Eddie Edwards. So just in this announcement from Impact Wrestling, it's officially announced that Eric Young did sustain a torn ACL during the main event match against Eddie Edwards on the last episode of Impact Wrestling, which I kind of knew it happened because I heard rumors that like he took a hard bump during the Hardcore Justice Impact Plus special from 3 weeks ago, which by the way, the Hardcore Justice Impact Plus special was decent, but it feels like a gimmick show. Just, I'll go into a little further on the next episode of Into the Stratusphere, which like a little bit of like a sidebar recap as I call it. So Eric Young, alongside with the members of Violent by Design, has been talking to someone who's going to be his replacement. And then once everybody comes out, and then EY was standing there, and lo and behold, he is 7 foot tall, and you can't teach that. That's right. W. Morrissey, formerly known as WWE superstar Big Cass, made his Impact Wrestling debut. I'm not going to be saying his full name. We're going to call him Big W. It's more fitting and more easier, you know? So yeah, Big W made his debut in Impact Wrestling, and it was a pretty fun match. I mean, a lot of back and forth going on with both teams, and of course you saw like a lot of impressive moveset, especially from Big W too. And I'm happy to say this. I'm happy that Big W is healthy and he's doing well ever since that he had that stroke, seizure from an independent wrestling show like a few years ago, which I'm glad he is okay and he's doing well. That's all that matters health-wise too. Noah, what are your takeaway from this match?
Again, Violent by Design has been one of the most dominant, effective, well-put-together factions in Impact Wrestling history. All 4 men, all 4 components truly bring it, and Eric Young, who brought this up from the beginning, has truly redefined all these men's careers. And for a man who redefined himself both physically and spiritually, congrats to you, W.L. Morrissey. I will call you by your real name. I thought he had a very impressive showing in his Impact Wrestling debut here. He really brought it, taking place of Eric Young, and got them in the end with a tallest, let's call it that, black hole slam I've ever seen. Really wild 8-man more as expected with Violent by Design, taking it all around the ringside area as Eric Young watched from the stage. I thought it was a good match, and again, the right team won. Violent by Design looking the strongest in all of Impact Wrestling as a whole. And congrats to W.L. Morrissey for his debut. And I imagine now he is a permanent part of the group too.
Indeed. So as you guys saw that Big W did deliver a big black hole slam to Willie Mack, and thus picking up the victory for Violent by Design. And afterwards, you saw him, he's doing that Violent by Design pose, like, in the ring, and you know that he is a new member. I thought this match was pretty good. I like the fact that all the babyface did attack Diener, while Big W did deliver a spinning, like, a kind of like a break. But then I like the fact that Chris Sabin did deliver a superplex to Diener on the top rope that landed on everyone. That is a pretty cool moment, you guys.
I like how everybody was fighting during it too, versus just sitting there standing like, wait for it, wait for it, wait for it. It's like they did not see it coming. That's how you sell something.
Exactly. And it's like more like everybody's getting more involved. It feels like a really, like a thing, like the thing of it is, it's like, I wish this would have happened at Hardcore Justice instead of this B-crap weaponry they have. Because of this, the weapon has been a distraction, but this should have been happened like 3 weeks ago versus here. But regardless, it was a really fun match that everybody got involved and whatnot too. But I have a feeling something's going to be happening with Violent by Design, which we're going to be getting to that into one of the matches as well, Noah, because I have a hunch of what's going to be happening in the future.
You mean besides the fact that Randall still has the call your shot totally for any time?
Oh, yes, which we're going to be talking about that. So hold that thought for me, okay? Because I might forget.
I got you covered.
Thank you, friend. Anyway, so afterwards, next up you have is Brian Myers versus Matt Cardona. 18 years of friendship has been shambled, of course. I like this match a lot. I thought it was going to be just your typical singles match, But this is a really much a good like match between both best friends trying to beat the holy crap out of each other. I like the fact that Matt Cardona did counter with a net breaker from Brian Myers, and boy, outside of the ring when they brawl out, you could see how it's becoming so brutal. I like the fact that Matt Cardona did deliver as a message the shade of hot mess to Brian Myers, of course, as a shout out to his lovely fiance who is recently released, which, of course, we'll get into that in a minute, but which, however, the one thing that everybody is talking about is that brutal botch from Matt Cardona when he was about to do the radio silent until he landed so hard that his knee kind of like tore. Like, you guys, if you guys are a fan of UFC, you guys already know about what happened to Saturday night's UFC fight, of what happened to this one particular match. Yeah. I don't want to see this, but at least it's not super, super serious where the angle has been snapped in half. Like, no. But it's a knee. So Matt Cardona landed so hard that his knee snapped, and it was so concerning. You saw Brian Myers' reaction that, like, he saw what happened, and you thought that, like, the match is going to be ending. But no, Brian Myers continued to attack him, and then he did the roster cut and pick up the victory, too. So even though, like, Brian Myers had to finish this match, but things are getting planned. I know I heard some people saying that they've been fooled that it was to sell. No, it's actually real, you guys. Noah, what are your thoughts of this whole match? And do you think that, like, seeing the actual injury just sends a message like this is legitimately real and not a soul?
I mean, the ref literally put up the X. I was actually wondering if this was a work and that Matt Cardona was going to pull a page out of Brian Myers' playbook, claiming he's so professional, taking advantage and catching him in a package. No, it literally was Brian Myers who looked hesitant, tried to draw us in with his own smithy, and then he decks the man, destroys him, of course, with his curtain call lariat and gets the win. Unprofessional as always. This was bad and nasty at the end, but I enjoyed the match and the approach to it. Again, Matt Cardona and Brian Myers share a lot of the same type of mannerisms of one other group we know well, Edge and Christian. It even showed in their offense here where one tried to deliver an unprettier and the other delivered a spear successfully. But there was something ever since he did the radio silence on the stage that I was like, ooh, I wonder if that's going to fall back on Matt Cardona. And then he tried to go for it again and then really bad let. You got to wonder if that really was Keith starting with that first one he pulled off successfully. I felt this match could have been more, but honestly, after that injury, I really thought the match should have been stopped. I think it was kind of crazy the way Brian Myers still went forward to execute, to be a finish, and then gloat about it. This was an odd match, to say the least, and I can only hope Matt Cardona really is okay, because Matt Cardona has faced enough like setbacks in his career. I know this isn't the first this happened, but this looked really bad. And as a fan now, been watching UFC, and by the way, congrats to Rose achieving a history last night. I really hope that this isn't as necessarily as serious as what happened last night, but it just might be. I hope he doesn't require surgery. Like, yeesh.
Absolutely. So I have a feeling that Brian Myers and Matt Cardona kind of talking about, like, what happened if one of them got injured. It's probably kind of like pre-executed because they're best friends for like 18 plus years.
Yeah, they do a podcast together.
Yeah. And so pretty much they have like a plan, like what if one of them got injured like prior to this, But I think it's like it can go either or. So anyway, you guys, so please stay tuned to the news and update from Matt Cardona. I know Philip and Brandon are probably going to be discussing about it on the episode of the Bulletcast. Maybe Brandon's going to be talking about it on his the returning episode of Under the Radar as well, just briefly. So just want to let everybody know, all right? So wishing Matt Cardona for his speedy recovery. Hopefully he's doing okay as well. Anyway, you guys, so next up you have is the Knockouts Tag Team Championship match between the current champ Fire and Flava versus the team of Jordan Grace, and making her first Impact Wrestling pay-per-view debut, Rachel Ellery. So Rachel Ellery made her Impact Wrestling debut on the last episode of Impact Wrestling, which I'm like pretty surprised because I'm a fan of Rachel Ellery. She is the daughter of Precious Paul Ellery, who is the manager of the Legion of Dupes, of course. Slash the Road Warriors, of course. And he also used to manage AOP as well. That's right. And Rachel Ellery used to be in NXT under the name Rachel Evers. And since she got released last year, she made the appearance on AEW Dark and AEW Women's Tag Team Tournament, where she teamed with Dasha. Mm-hmm. Yep, I remember that. So, Jordynne Grace and Rachel Ellery came out, but they're not alone because Jazz came out and she's just a manager, of course. But I'm glad like she didn't get involved throughout the match. She's just like helping, just to cheering both ladies on, just to be in a managerial role as well. So I thought this match was really fun. I do like the tag team dynamics from Fire and Flavor. They work very well together. I like Rachel Ellery's in-ring style. Like she has a bit of a collegiate wrestling meet brawling aspect. Like I feel honestly like her in-ring style is like a little bit better than Deonna Purrazzo, but that's just my personal opinion. I mean, seeing how Rachel did the STO followed by the jumping spinning leg drop to Kiera Hogan, that was insane. And I liked Fire and Flavor did the missile drop kick in stereo to both Jordynne and Rachel. So that's kind of like more of like cohesive, more of like this whole tag team dynamic. And however, the only thing I'll give a little bit criticism is how much Jordynne Grace did miss that tope suicida spot to Tasha Steele outside the ring. Like, it's kind of obvious, like, you know, she did miss it, but it's probably not purposely. I like the fact that Kiera Hogan did the top rope crossbody and landed on both Jordynne and Rachel. And, of course, at the end, Rachel Ellery did pick up the victory by pinning Kiera Hogan, and thus Jordynne Grace and Rachel Ellery is your new Knockouts Tag Team Champion, you guys. I could have been more happier than ever. So, Noah, what do you think of this match? Do you think that, like, Jordynne Grace and Rachel Ellery being the Knockouts Tag Team Champion will be setting the bar high from the Knockouts division?
Absolutely. Rachel Ellery looked phenomenal in her Impact Wrestling debut. I couldn't be happier for these two to become the Impact Knockout Tag Team Champions. I will give Fire and Flavor all the credit that is due. They became the inaugural champs. They talk a lot of sass and trash, but they do back it up. But now we have a team of powerhouses, and I think a bit more class. Jordynne Grace and Rachel Ellery really worked well together as a team, and I feel definitely it deserved this. It redefines the outlook of this Knockouts division, and I feel it's going to bring out a whole new level of competition and maybe some comparisons as well. I couldn't be happier, and with Jazz potentially now going forward as just their manager, that's an even greater thing, not only for them, but all of Impact Wrestling. When you think about all the influences for the Knockouts there, Gail Kim, Madison Rayne, and now Jazz, this Knockouts division has unlimited potential and so many different ways that it could go. And personally now, I just hope to see the new Knockout Tag Champs maybe involved in a future tag team tournament that could happen on a different company. We'll have to wait and see. But Rachel Ellery, phenomenal performance. I'm glad she got the win, and you basically called my spots of the match. Congratulations to the new champs. Good reign, though, by the previous.
Absolutely.
One of my favorite matches of the whole show.
Absolutely. It was a really surefire match. Now there's going to be the set to bar high for like more of the Knockouts tag team to compete, especially more heel tag teams, of course. So could have been more happier than ever. Alrighty, so next up you have is, the aggressive in nature match, aka the last standing match between Trey Miguel versus Sami Callihan. Now, this is the match that I've been following up ever since Trey Miguel's return to Impact Wrestling, and how much that Sami Callihan has been giving a lot of negative, like, words of encouragement to a huge mind games. This match was freaking crazy and it's insane, especially so many spots going on. However, we had that I am the table moment, y'all. Like, So, Noah, can you break it down a bit, like explain a bit about this
Yeah,
match
I mean,
altogether?
this match was defined and built on one word: passion. Is it there? Do you have it? Can you truly stand to show it? No pun intended. I mean, where do we begin? How about we go with the fact that Trey Miguel with a fiery start gets literally caught by Sammy and then tossed over the top rope, distant wise, literally like a piece of meat for our first potential. Okay, he's not getting up. And then Trey Miguel fires like a bullet into the barricade. Torpe Suicida shoulder first, and of course, a bullet can't bend steel, so Trey Miguel's shoulder did not flex that steel barricade either. Then they go further out to the outside. We get a crate. He's trying to crush him, misses, but then he ends up literally suplexing him onto the crate, really starting to work over his back during this match to the point I'm like, chiropractic, not needed. And then he opens the crate, and then I guess he's been looking at Britt Baker and literally tries to pull out some hardcore dentistry where he's literally trying to rip a tooth, jaw, you name it, literally out of Trey Miguel's mouth. You could tell Trey's mouth was not right the rest of this match. Further punishment ensued when he tried to put him through a table, but instead the edge of his head caught the table. I am the table. Table did not break, but before that even, chair spots galore, and then he gets further chiropractic done where he's bent over backwards on the actual leg of the table. What the hell? And then we further go outside to where the craziest of madness ensued, where you have the steel steps set up, and literally they're on the apron, and out of nowhere, freaking package pile driver on the steel steps from the apron. Are you kidding me? Freaking trying to bury him under the steel steps, making sure that his ass does not get up. But this stairs did not encase Trey Miguel as he pulled up a little trick, and I saw this coming. He came out from under the apron and finally executed the final big move of the match, running across the apron to Sammy, pulling off, I would think, overhead blockbuster, taking Sammy through literally a table and barely with the help of a barricade, when before he used the ring apron to get up by a count of 9. This time he used the barricade to get up, and Trey Miguel, my hometown boy from Toledo, Ohio, proved to not only have passion, but proved that he was the last man standing. This match was bloody insane.
Absolutely no. That match was freaking insane, especially how Sammy Callahan used that wrench and like ripped Trey Miguel's teeth. I was like, holy crap, does Britt Baker approve of this?
Someone tweet Britt Baker and see if she did.
Exactly. And how about the part where like freaking Sammy Callahan did deliver a power bomb to Trey on the top of the table?
Staging crates.
Like, yeah, like holy crap. Like, it's insane. And then, of course, we have the eye in the table moment, everything. And so Trey Miguel was the last man standing after he delivered the cutter to Sammy Callahan through the table. Like, holy crap. So I bet this is going to be the end of their long rivalry, because now one thing Trey needs to do is focus on is just, being a single competitor. But I don't know what's going to be in the future is going to be whole for the whole company itself. But we're going to be getting to that in just a moment, y'all.
Oh, yeah. There's a lot of things to wonder when it comes to the future of not just Impact Wrestling, but pro wrestling as a whole.
Exactly. Alrighty. So next up after that you have is the Impact World Tag Team Championship match between Finn Juice, the current champ, versus the Good Brothers. Why in the hell Doc Gallows is wearing like... Oh my god. Yeah. I'm like shaking my head.
He's trying to be more flamboyant. I don't know what that was.
Exactly. However, I'm glad that Juice Robinson's wearing his updated ring gear. It looks really good on him. I'm gonna be missing his Blues Brothers look, but that's just me. The match it was pretty solid. I mean, it's not good, it's not bad, but it's a pretty decent match. A lot of tag team maneuver altogether, a lot of counter. You saw Juice Robinson with the back elbow, then a senton to Carl Anderson, and then he delivered couple jabs as usual to Carl Anderson, then the inverted atomic kick. And then you saw Doc Gallows did push Dave Finlay as they were about to set up the Doomsday, of course. Mm-hmm. But then again, Carl took counter Juice Robinson's top rope maneuver, and that's where Good Brothers took the advantage. You think that they're about to do the Managed Killer, but no, because Dave Finlay did broke the pin, and Juice Robinson with the inside cradle, y'all, and Finjuice retained the title.
What?
Your thoughts, Noah?
I just said my plot, but let me go ahead and be a little more in depth.
Yeah.
I was surprised by this. I gotta be honest.
Yeah.
It's almost like Impact Wrestling's trying to adapt the kind of once in a while showcase formula for certain divisions and titles, like during certain tours, because you think about, like, sometimes the heavyweight championships over there in New Japan aren't always involved in tours, especially their gold. We have not seen Finjuice involved at all in Impact Wrestling, let alone defend these titles at all in New Japan Pro Wrestling. And when it came to their first match since becoming champs, they pulled it out. In my opinion, I think Hubris got the best of the Good Brothers. They thought they were better than these young boys. They thought they had the best of Juice Robinson. They took a little long to execute the Magic Killer, giving David Finlay enough time to recover, stop the move, and yeah, Big LG, by the way, the bigger of the two, got caught in inside cradle. I couldn't believe it. But kudos to Finjuice for pulling it out. I have to only imagine with the fact we know what's next for Impact, and we have Grand Slam coming to New Japan Pro Wrestling. Somebody has to go after Finjuice and these Impact Tag Team Championships, and we both know the Good Brothers can go and want to go back to Japan. Is this the time it's going to happen?
Honestly, I doubt that's going to happen. However, my concern about Finjuice winning the title is that they're going to be holding hostage again with the Impact World Tag Team titles. Because, Moxley is the current IWGP United States champion, and he's holding the title held hostage, too. So I was even happy.
For Yuji Nagata, to be fair.
Exactly, which I'm not happy about this. However, it comes to think of it, in the back of my mind, you mentioned Rhino has the trophy who won the Collier Shaw Gauntlet at last year's Bound for Glory.
Correct.
And Violent by Design has been booking strong. Since EY is going to be out for pretty much almost a year for that torn ACL, I think it's time for now that Violent by Design can definitely chase that Impact World Tag Team title. And with Rhino, with the trophy, I think this is it, you guys. We get to see an actual rivalry between Finjuice and Violent by Design. So I have a feeling it's going to be Rhino and I'm going to call it Rhino and Joe Dory. It could be either Rhino with Joe Dory, Rhino with Dino, or Rhino with Big W.
I'm about to say, Rhino could probably pass off the trophy and be like, oh, I'm not fighting. These guys are fighting my place, because he could do this on behalf of Violent by Design. Because again, they are a congruent unit. After what I saw tonight, I could see Joe Doring and Big Cass, the biggest two threats in this faction, becoming our next Impact Tag Champions. Exactly. That's honestly what I'm thinking.
Oh, yeah. Or go by the Freebird rule,
Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, if they want to have Violent by Design being the Impact World Tag Team Champion, go for the Freebird rule. I mean, I'll be okay with it. So that way they can take alternate turns. And that way they can wreak havoc in the tag division. Because, to be quite honest, the Impact Tag Team division is lacking, you guys. I mean, we have tag teams that's broke up. Reno Scott has been recently released from Impact Wrestling. And so you just need to have more of who can dominate the tag team division altogether.
See, that's the thing. It's kind of like you look at wrestling. When you bring wrestling together, you solve that issue. So I can only hope that now with Finjuice having these titles, Impact Wrestling defines the division. Because you're right, they are lacking. I really can only think of really 3 teams, and only one of them is a real congruent team right now in the Impact Tag division, besides Good Brothers, which makes 4.
Exactly. So hopefully they better figure out a plan to do with with the Impact World Tag Teams, especially with the division as a whole. So hopefully by the time Thursday rolls around, they better be ready. And I want to see Violent by Design go for that title, blank.
Yeah, because I'm sure Finjuice is not going to literally leave to Japan right now. They got to at least show up on this Impact Wrestling taping, live, whatever you want to call it.
All that, yeah. Alrighty, guys. So next up, you have the Impact Knockouts Championship match between Deonna Purrazzo with Kimberly and Karen, aka Susan, versus Tennille Dashwood with Kayla with a K. Okay, I'm gonna be real. Even though we all been talking crap and criticize about Tennille Dashwood in ring work and her past matches, this is by far her best match ever in her career. One of her best, her best match since when she used to be in WWE and facing Asuka.
Mm-hmm.
This is her best match she ever done. I like her quick counter. I like her agility. Her moveset, especially the double, like, a taste of Tenille, it's began to be more improved. I give my flower to Tenille Dashwood. She did bring it. We've been waiting for all this month or years. She nailed it. She did deliver more of a high caliber as a women's wrestler. And even though it's for the title match, she brought her A game. I would like to see more of Tenille Dashwood with that attitude and with that moveset from her. Point period blank, y'all. So this is more of... Yeah, it's more of a... Yep. Technical versus the flexible strike. That's Tenille Dashwood's in-ring ability, as I call it. And so, like, in the middle of the match, you heard Kimberly and Susan has been cheering on and giving words of encouragement. However, Kimberly keep telling Susan to shut up, which you can hear, Noah. You probably hear, like, them talking. And, of course, there's tension arise ever since their loss during the pre-show match, of course.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Tenille with the impressive crossbody for a 2 count. She also, last match she did, not 1 but 2 of the taste of Tenille, which is the low crossbody to Deonna Purrazzo for a 2 count. And of course, like, when Tenille was about to do that submission lock, until, like, Kimberly and Karen got into the ring, but then you got Kayla with the K got involved and pulled Kimberly down, and they both actually brought, but mostly Kimberly to Kayla with the K. And so Deonna took the advantage to do the roll-up for a 2 count, and then she did Deonna. Holy crap. Deonna on the top rope as she was about to do the diving headbutt, but Tenille did counter. And then Tenille was about to do this. She did the spotlight until Kimberly did pull her off the ring, and then that's where, like, Tenille has been outnumbered by Kimberly and Susan. But as soon as she got into the ring, Deonna did the rolling exploder, and then she delivered the Fujiwara armbar, but Tenille escaped. Until at the end, Deonna with the new name, it's not the Costa Nostra, you guys, it's called the Queen's Gambit, and she retained the title. So, no, what's your takeaway from this match and also Tenille's performance?
Literally Tenille's performance. I feel like Tenille is one of those that people have basically written off since being in this gimmick role, it seems, people think of in Impact Wrestling, because she hasn't had a Knockouts Championship match since facing Roca, Taya Valkyrie. This was 10 times better. Truly,
AKA Frankie Monet.
That's that too, thank you. Truly, this was, I think, Tenille Dashwood's best match in her career. And honestly, when you looked at the way this kind of was being pushed forward, she was kind of more so a babyface showcase in this match. Yes, Kayla with the K got involved, but so did the outside influences of Deonna Purrazzo. And again, it was the technical wrestling of Deonna, basically going up against the all-around flexible, somewhat unorthodox wrestling style of Tenille Dashwood. In the end, the Virtuosa, she did prevail, of course, via submission, which is her ace in the hole, but it also pushed her to try and do something outside her comfort zone. A top rope head dive? Are you kidding me?
Mm-hmm.
Of course, she went face first to the canvas, and honestly, I thought if it wasn't for Kimber and Susan, we probably would have had a new Knockouts champion. That's how much I believe Tenille had this match. A very impressive showcase. And there was a reason why this was before the main event. Because again, the Knockouts division is something to be respected. And its champion and its competitors, they do deliver. And Tenille, I hope to see more of this. What a match. Kudos to both.
Indeed. It was one of the match that, like, it was pretty much overlooked, despite the whole card has been lacking and how much it's been, like, thrown, like, you know, last minute, like, within, like, almost 3 weeks. This one sets the bar really high, and especially with Tenille's performance also, that, like, it was very impressive altogether. I was really tuned in. So this is one hell of a match altogether. But then afterwards, Kimberly and Karen got into the ring and they both started attacking Tennille, and Deanna got involved. So all three of them continued to attack Tennille. But then music hits, making her return after being in retirement for 11 plus years. Taylor Wilde made her
Whoa.
return, and she got into the ring and attacking Deonna Purrazzo and thus making the save. Okay, sidebar. What in the hell is Taylor Wilde's theme song? What in the crap? Sounds like a kid is singing. Like, why? Okay, as a music lover, and I know Baby Huey's probably going to be listening to it because, like, he works for a very notable rock station in the Bay Area, of course, 107.7 The Bone. He probably may agree or disagree, but, like, I kind of sense, like, her theme song is trying to be, like, kind of, like, more inspired of a all-girls punk rock group, kind of like Bikini Kills to Hole, kind of a little bit of combo. However, it feels like a kid is singing, and it doesn't even like tune into her theme song. It's like it kind of like sets the mood as a mood killer. But however, I do like the fact that Taylor Wilde did reinvent her look, because, like, it's more of, like, a punk rock feel. And she's coming out, it looks like she's coming into kind of, like, a pinup girl style, which I love the pinup aesthetics of it. But, yeah, so, criticize aside, it's really great to see Taylor Wilde, and she still looks good. I know that last year, because, like, we saw her on social media popping up out of nowhere during this crapola of 2020, and she has a podcast called Let's Get Wild, which I do listen while I'm at work, and I really do love her interview that she conduct. My favorite would have to be that she interviewed Dakota Kai, of course. But yeah, so Noah, what are your thoughts on Taylor Wilde's return?
The real Taylor Wilde is back, and I must say it's a very pleasant and nice surprise. She looked very good taking out Deonna Purrazzo's, let's just say, escorts with double maneuvers, and I like her look. And yeah, I'm a fan like you. I've been a fan of her podcast as well. Of course, my favorite is the one she did with Allie. Hey, Allie. And overall, it's very nice to see former Knockouts champion back to bring a new feel to old school vibe now. Because that's kind of what it is. It's like Matt Striker's been talking about on commentary. A lot of familiar faces coming back. Well, it continues. Now Taylor Wilde has Deonna Purrazzo in her sights. So the Virtuoso better look out, because Taylor Wilde, she did beat Awesome Kong to become a former Knockouts champion. She is nobody to take lightly.
Indeed. Now, this is going to be something that's going to be setting up for a rivalry for next challenge for Deonna Purrazzo. So I think that's going to be happening. And besides, like, speaking of the next event, so right before the main event match, they did feature the announcement of like 2 Impact Plus special. So May 15 is going to be Impact Plus Under Siege. That's right. Under Siege is going to be the next Impact Plus, May 15th. And then, let me go ahead and pop up the date for June, of course. So, on, I believe, load. Okay, on June 12th, Impact Plus presents Against All Odds. However, the one that everybody's talking about the most is the video package for the upcoming Slammiversary pay-per-view, which is the next pay-per-view in July. You know, last year they did feature the recently released stars. This year is happening. So they say change the world. So they feature Samoa Joe, Mickie James, Chelsea Green as Laurel Van Ness. Also, they show the 2 flags, Mexico and Australia. And plus, they show 3 other wrestlers, Kazuchika Okada, Tetsuya Naito, and Kenji Muda as well. So, something is going to be happening when Slammiversary roll around. However, I did show this to Philip, the the pictures of like the teaser of it, and Philip kind of disagreed about Samoa Joe's like appearance. I told him Mickey James going to NWA, Samoa Joe to AEW, but I'd rather see him in Impact because he's like, I feel like with Samoa Joe, he should be the one that will be inducted to this year's Impact Wrestling's Hall of Fame. However, Philip disagreed. He wanted to see Samoa Joe in MLW or New Japan Pro Wrestling because of all the dream matches. But I agree to disagree, you guys. But, you know, it is what it is. But, yeah, no, your thoughts on this announcement and the teaser?
Holy freaking hell. Are you kidding me? Potentially in what you're trying to recreate this year and changing the world at Slammiversary, which I also believe looked like it might be in a UK setting from all the background stuff we saw. This blew my mind, and it's unbelievable to think about that you might have influences from NJPW, NWA, Mexico, and who knows what the heck else.
And
Australia.
Noah.
Yeah, Pro Wrestling Noah especially, but Kaji Muto, one of the oldest and still champion to this day. I still can't believe. There is so much to think about right now in pro wrestling in 2021. I can talk about this with you all night, but I know it's just in time, so I'll keep it simple. This could not excite me more for what summer can bring to us from all my favorite companies in professional wrestling, especially with NWA recently coming back, the NWA redefining itself, NJPW trying to really expand themselves across the world, especially what they're doing with Strong. You guys tell them all, by the way. Spoiler alert, folks. And, of course, with the release of one company is the wrestling industry's gain, as proof last year with Slammiversary. We defined Impact Wrestling last year for sure. I think they could definitely do it again. And there's a lot of exciting promises there for me as a fan that I hope come true.
Indeed. And especially like how anything's going to be the endless possibility, but I know it's too early to tell about like, you know, will this year will be top it off compared to last year? Because last year was a game changer because that's where everybody's starting to watch Impact Wrestling once again, especially yours truly, you know. That's why I have Into the Stratusphere. Without Slammiversary, I couldn't have my own show after all.
I followed Impact prior to that, but it was Slammiversary that really brought back the love of Impact Wrestling because I never lost faith in Impact, but it was for a while. It's like, you know, you're coasting along because there's like one or two names you cared about. But Slammiversary proved that we want to bring back that passion of professional wrestling. It's like Matt Striker talks about on commentary. This is professional wrestling. Impact Wrestling is professional wrestling.
Indeed. Alrighty. And with professional wrestling, now for the moment that we all waiting for. The winner take all match. AEW World Heavyweight Champion Kenny Omega versus Impact World Heavyweight Champion Rich Swann. So you have Mauro Ronaldo on commentary, you have Aubrey Edwards and Brian Hebner officiate the match because, of course, it's Scott D'Amore's idea prior to the match because Tony Khan, Tony Schiavone, and Jerry Lynn were there, of course. And Tony Khan did agree with Scott D'Amore's idea to have two referee because of the tomfoolery going on. So you have Kenny Omega accompanied by Don Callis and the Good Brothers, and Rich Swann accompanied by Eddie Edwards and Willie Mack. And I am very blown away with this match with no interference. Holy crap. This is
clean
finish.
Simple as that.
Like, holy crap. Even though the fact that it is a predictable match, but it's still really good. They deliver a very impressive match, especially you saw so much dedication from Rich Swann. Talk about Rich doing the inverted Phoenix Splash to Kenny Omega off the top rope, laid it on this stage. Like, hoo-wee. Talk about that. And then you have like more counter back and forth. Chop Sexman exchange. Kenny did counter Rich Swann's springboard that landed so hard on the apron after Kenny did deliver a package pile driver. Like, holy shit, that's like brutal. And then you saw Kenny did the buckle bomb and then the shoulder bomb for the 2 count. Rich Swann did the mule kick, then the frog splash for a 2 count, of course. And then you saw like a couple kickouts and pinfalls and near falls. Kenny with the V trigger, and then almost do the one wing angel, but Rich did counter. Kenny with the spinning heel kick, and then you saw the part where Rich accidentally did the cutter to Brian Hebner after Kenny did kind of like dodge it from him, like holy crap. And then referee Aubrey Edwards got into the ring, just trying to check in on Brian Hebner, but Kenny did grab the steel chair. Then he was about to hit it until right behind Kenny, of course, using her smart, intelligent Aubrey Edwards, of course, grabbed the steel chair away from Kenny, and of course the brief argument. I really love Aubrey Edwards. She's so great. And Noah, what happens next?
Oh my God. Let's see. We finally get control again, and we thought Swann was going to capitalize. No, I was on the edge of my seat. Then bang, V trigger, bang, V trigger. And it was literally bang, a V trigger fest. But kudos to Rich Swann, the heart this guy exuded, not wanting to give in. But the V triggers were just kept coming, and it was too much to the point he literally collapsed. And then, out of nowhere, pulls off a maneuver for near fall, triggers Omega, no pun intended, one more V trigger, exposed knee, and he finally sets him up. And as Don Callis, the invisible hand, alluded to, one wing angel, hooks the leg cover, and Kenny Omega has made history, called by Mauro Ranallo, and is our AEW and Impact World Heavyweight Champion. By God! We have made history tonight, and Kenny Omega now owns the world, truly. And honestly, it might as well be said, AEW owns Impact Wrestling. What a phenomenal main event, though. And again, clean, no matter what, all the outside influences, the expectations with the double refs, clean. Kenny Omega did it, fair and square.
And no matter what, to quote Aaron Riff, that he did talk about during the NXT TakeOver match between Johnny Gargano versus Tommaso Ciampa for the NXT title years ago, even though the finish is predictable, but they always deliver a great match. And that is the example of delivering a very awesome match altogether, and the fact that, like, you thought that they're going to be having more of a predictable finish or even a squash match. No. It
was dead even until Rich Swann could not handle any more V triggers. We saw him escape the Woman Angel at least twice in this match, including an attempted avalanche one. Maranello calling every sort of basic driver that each of these men put out on each other. There's at least 10 near falls in this match. I brought into all of them. This match exceeded all of my expectations, despite the fact it was barely acknowledged or built, much so mostly built just this week alone. This match was incredible.
It is freaking incredible. But one thing that we haven't heard of, Mauro Ranallo did not say Mamma Mia throughout the whole match.
Did not get that moment, unfortunately.
Yeah, but you know what?
It was still great to hear that man's voice. My gosh.
It was music to my ears hearing Mauro Ranallo. But regardless, this match was... I think this is like one of the more of a picture perfect, like, true wrestling match that we've been all waiting for without any outside interference or a distraction. Well, besides the whole referee bump situational, but it's actually so much higher than expected, Noah, and I could have been more satisfied. However, because like the buildup was so weak and how AEW is pretty much heavily criticized about like, this whole like Impact and AEW, like not bringing an Impact Wrestling star to AEW and all that, I think it's not set. This match defines it, and it's going to be happening to what's going to be happening next with both companies comes this Wednesday for AEW Dynamite.
And Thursday night on Impact Wrestling. And we know one person is going to unleash hell on Rich Swann, and that is Moose.
Oof. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. And guess who's going to be the rival for Kenny Omega? Christian Cage.
At this point, it has to be. I mean, we talk about John Moxley and Kingston going after the Good Brothers. We talked about this in ATW View, who from Impact maybe could confront Kenny Omega.
Yeah.
Honestly, I could maybe see Moose because they did have that bit of an exchange during the Hard to Kill 6-man, which of course we watched today. But at this point, yeah, and the fact that Christian Cage is using his TNA type hybrid theme, Christian Cage makes the most sense. And honestly, the match between Kim and Omega could take place on either Impact or AEW turf. Sky's the limit.
Exactly. So, yeah. So, you guys, that is it for the recap for Impact Wrestling's Rebellion. All in all, this show, it was pretty solid. I was pretty satisfied despite the weak build-up. But they actually delivered it. I was very impressed. Even though there's no fans, and I just wish there's like some staff member being a fans or anything like that. But like the crowd noise did actually kind of add the, more of like they amped it up altogether. So with that, we're going to be giving our letter grades right now. So Noah, would you grade this? And match night?
Impact Wrestling Rebellion. They did make history. There definitely was some surprises, but there definitely were some fleeting moments. I have to consider that the wrestling overall is pretty damn good, but the build into it was not the strongest. That kind of deflates what you try to sell, which was a pay-per-view. This was not an A show, but it was a good show. A solid, simple B+ for me.
Well, despite the buildup has been weak and how like people are like very doubtful when it comes to like the buildup for the pay-per-view, if they're going to be watching it or not, I feel this pay-per-view did deliver very well, and especially set into the higher expectation. I honestly feel this pay-per-view is quite a tad better than the Hard to Kill pay-per-view.
I agree, because I gotta be honest, looking at it today.
Yes. And sidebar.
And also, it had the Karate Kid and Eva Page fame, which
and it's better than the AEW Revolution pay-per-view.
Well, let's not, go off tangent here.
Hey, we're talking about cross promotion, Noah. So, and into the Stratusphere, we do cross promotion.
Yeah. And people will remember the finish.
Oh God, I went on a tangent when I did the recap with Philip and Brandon. So
I'm glad I only did 30-second voice clip for you.
Oh, of course. And I still keep it till this day.
B+ A- territory. Exactly. This was a really good pay-per-view.
Exactly.
I enjoyed it.
For my grade, this pay-per-view did lead into my expectation. All the matches were great, even though the Matt Cardona versus Brian Myers match was like very scary because we saw a live injury. We saw so much return like from Taylor Wilde, and then Big W made his debut, and that's right, and everything, and what's going to be happening with like some of the storyline as well, especially the main event match that is like a picture perfect match, even though it's not the match of the year worthy candidate, but this is setting a high example of what a wrestling match is supposed to look like, people. So yeah. So with that, I'm going to be giving it a B+ as well for Impact Wrestling's Rebellion. So as for the Into the Stratusphere, I do the rankings of the pay-per-view since we're now in April. We're kind of like almost halfway towards 2021. So I would say the top pay-per-view for this year, so you have is Impact Wrestling's Rebellion as number 1. Number 2, I'll definitely gonna give it NWA Back for the Attack pay-per-view. Impact Wrestling's Hard to Kill pay-per-view. And 4, AEW Revolution. So these are 4 of the pay-per-views that is non-WWE related pay-per-views, you guys. So I just want to let y'all know, because Into the Stratusphere, this is a non-WWE show, except we talk about releases and the features and all that stuff, but digress on that. Yeah. And with that being said, that is it for the episode of Into the Stratusphere, you guys. So before we all go, let's go ahead and give some plugs. So Noah, where can they find you and your show and everything?
Always a pleasure, Cindy. I look forward to you being back on my territory, as we talk about territory days returning here. At some point on my simple channel, we'll definitely talk about the future. If people want to find me, it's as simple as this. Follow me on Twitter, AnnanFoster1916. Follow me on Instagram, AnnanFoster1916. And check out my simple YouTube channel, youtube.com/C/NoFoster10 for all things wrestling. Shout out to HW Friendly on Twitter. Upcoming content includes more stuff regarding wrestling, including my new platform I call the ATW View. I might reinvent AW Spark. There's some NWA stuff and WWE stuff, and definitely more Impact stuff too. And as always, folks, it's not about me. It's about what we love. It's about the passion we share for this craft, sport, art, whatever you call it. Just enjoy life and enjoy wrestling. Simple as that. And I'll definitely see you around in the Stratusphere and some point down on Earth.
It beautifully said. Alrighty, you guys. So you guys can follow. Well, I'm going to start with the Bulletcast plug first before mine and all that because I have a lot of plugs for like other affiliates channels. So if you guys want to check out a new episode of the Into the Stratusphere, yes, new episode Into the Stratusphere will be back. I know it's going to be a lot. And also I'm going to be deciding to bring back independent wrestling results and dates since, you know, the shows is starting to be back, especially in Northern California. I'll be giving you guys the results and upcoming shows like all over, just in the United States only for now because, you know, I have Roku and I have like different wrestling networks and Northern California wrestling is slowly but surely coming back, you guys. So I'm definitely going to be bringing back to that as well. And also like, you know, usual recap for NWA and Impact Wrestling and the AEW bonus. I'm going to be changing the format a little bit, which I'll be explaining a little bit more on the next episode, you guys. So yeah, so make sure to follow the Bulletcast on all social media platform at Bulletcast, of course. Make sure to follow at the Bulletcast on all podcasting platform. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, like, share, hit the bell button for notification. Also sign up on Patreon for like lost episode of the Bulletcast, of course, from like throwbacks. And maybe like a lost episode of Into the Stratosphere had that it was supposed to be airing, but no, it did not. But I had to redo it. Just a spoiler, but maybe down the line in the future.
Cosmos.
Exactly. Lost episode, you guys. All right. And if you want to find me, well, your girl Cindy G, make sure to follow me on Twitter and on Instagram at simply_C_OK. That's SIMPLY_C_OK. Follow me on TikTok, you guys. That's where I'm here more often. And also, I do promote the Bulletcast podcast, which follow me on TikTok at simply_C_OK. The OK is in full. It's OKAY. Make sure to follow my podcast, The Adventures in Wrestling Podcast, on Instagram, adventures_in_wrestling_podcast. My YouTube channel at Adventures in Wrestling by Cindy G. And then the Adventures in Wrestling Storytelling Edition on all selected podcasting platform. But I'm mostly on the Teddy Turnbuckle channel, which every weekday, Monday to Friday at 8:45 p.m. on stereo.com. Me and Steve the Fan, we have our show called Wrestling Disaster, where we talk about the worst match, worst segment, worst gimmick, worst pay-per-view, as we discuss and give the award where 5 is the worst, the most disastrous ever, and a 1 that is like a half a disaster, you guys. And also I do reactions for AEW shows like AEW Dark, AEW Dark Elevation, AEW Dynamite, and NWA Power live reactions. And I do a live stream for AEW Dynamite Breakdown as well. Everything at the Teddy Turnbuckle's YouTube channel. And follow Teddy Turnbuckle on Teddy Turnbuckle. And do not forget to follow NoDQ.com for all the latest news in WWE, AEW, and all wrestling related news. Since, you know, me and Noah were still affiliated with NoDQ.com. I know this is a long plug, but you know what? Get used to it because you're going to be seeing me on this different platform. And if you guys wanted me to go in depth with AEW Dynamite, head to the Teddy Turnbuckle's channel. And like I said, I'll be explaining a little bit more about the different changing format when it comes to the AEW bonus segment as well. All right, with that being said, Bulletcast Nation, so remember to wash your hands 20 to 30 seconds, practice social distancing, wear your face mask and face covering, no excuses. Make sure to get vaccinated, you guys. The more you get vaccinated, the more that the cases will be decreasing, but the choice is yours, you guys. And remember, as always, please be kind to one another. We're all in this together. Till then, you guys, I'll see you guys in the next episode of Into the Stratusphere. This is your girl, Cindy G, and hope you have a good rest of your week. Cheers, y'all.
Have a good night, folks. God, I love pro wrestling.
Hell to the yeah, brother.
This has been the Bulletcast. Thank you for listening.